In observance of World Refugee Day, the Refugee and Forced Displacement Initiative hosted an event celebrating refugee talent and host country leadership to celebrate the many talents that refugees have and to enhance public awareness about their positive contributions to improve lives, engage in constructive dialogue, and find innovative ways for sustainable solutions. For more insight, VOA's Paul Ndiho joins us live from the Wilson Center here in Washington. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Peter.
So, Paul, can you kindly tell us more about today's event?
A fascinating event here at the Woodrow Wilson Center. You had panelists who range from former refugees themselves, people who coordinate refugee activities, and people who are doing all sorts of things to make sure that when these refugees come to this country, they're integrated into the society and they are able to keep on living their lives.
So, Paul, what do you think is the significance of this event on World Refugee Day?
Very significant indeed. When you think about the staggering numbers of refugees globally, you are looking at nearly 120 million people. These are people who end up fleeing their countries not because they want to flee their countries, but because of external or sometimes internal factors that push them out of their countries. Some are persecuted for maybe having wrong political views. In some cases, war breaks out. You look across the world, you have people from Ukraine who left Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. They're still in refugee camps. Look at Sudan, nearly 7 million people are in refugee camps. You look at the DRC, Somalia, almost every other corner of the world has a crisis going on. Right now in Gaza, people are holed up in refugee camps. So it's a global problem that has to be handled in a global way. So the panelists here were talking about how to figure out a way to forge forward, especially when it comes to how they relate, how they receive, and integrate some of these people who are fleeing away from their homes.
Well, Paul, how are Africa's refugees specifically being recognized at this event?
Interesting. That's a great question, Peter. You have a lot of Africans. Most of the speakers here were also former African refugees. They shared their stories, how they came here to the United States. One particular speaker talked about how she arrived here at the age of 4 years old with her mother, but she has managed to turn her life around. So she was looking at it from the perspective of another young girl held up in a refugee camp somewhere in Africa or somewhere in Gaza. They look at these and say, what would have happened to them if they had not left those refugee camps and found a home here in the United States? So those were some of the stories that people shared, and the feedback from the audience was equally amazing.
So, Paul, before you go, how does the Refugee and Forced Displacement Initiative look to initiate change for refugees?
It's all about figuring out new innovative ways of working together. You have people who are leaders in this space. We had a speaker who created one of the first refugee resettlement programs here in the United States. He was his testimony was incredibly powerful, how he came to start this organization. And he has since then helped a lot of people from different parts of the world.
Thank you very much, Paul. That was VOA's Paul Ndiho reporting live from the Wilson Center here in Washington.